Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Pretty Little Podcast. I'm Allie Violet Vixen Commissaro.
And I'm Jessie. Welcome back, guys, another week. Tonight, festering within the depths of the Florida swamps, lives Death Doom like you never heard before. WHARFLURCH is a band forging their own unique psychedelic sound of if classic death metal riffing meant ancient alien technology. Sometimes swampy, sometimes completely otherworldly, their music is sure to take you on a trip, whether it's hallucinogenic or to the cosmos. Either way, you'll see the psychedelic gates of hell. Welcome. Tonight we have Mike Colby, guitarist of WHARFLURCH.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Hey, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
Having a magnificent sort of day.
Awesome. It is the first beautiful day in Philadelphia we've had where you can actually go outside without freezing to death. So I
Nice.
had a beautiful day doing that. So
Is it warm or cold where you are?
It was like 70s all day. It's actually pretty nice.
I love to hear that.
Yeah, it was beautiful and sunshiny. I went to a farmer's market. It was gorgeous.
Ooh.
Yeah.
To get started, what's your story? What got you into heavy music?
Well, when I was a little kid, my dad had like Black Sabbath records and all that stuff. And he was a guitar player too. So he definitely had like, he had like the classic rock record collection, but it gravitated towards more like the Led Zeppelins and the Cream and Black Sabbath and all like the cool stuff,
All the ones that really like formed like that, like especially like Black Sabbath and like Cream with the like almost like the stonery, like slow vibes. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, the bluesiness.
Yeah, absolutely. Florida is famous for birthing the fundamental sound for 90s death metal with legendary bands like Death, Morbid Angel, Deicide, and Obituary. Do you feel like these iconic bands have influenced you or are still influencing the Florida death metal scene in any way?
I mean, I feel like they're still influencing the worldwide death metal scene, like Obituary was a huge one for me when I was young. Like when they first came out, I was like, this is the heaviest shit ever. This is great, So I dug in with that immediately. And Death 2, the first like 3 albums, I was super, super down with that.
I feel like Death especially, like their early sound, like, and then the later records, like their sound evolved so much, and they
changed a lot. Yeah,
changed a lot. They just like I don't know, that they're a band that just like built on itself so much. And Obituary, like the people still come out. I go every time I see Obituary on the bill, I'm there. It is a great time, and the venue is always packed. So
yeah, they do put on a great show to this day. They really fine-tuned it.
And then we have Deicide playing Philadelphia's Metal and Beer.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see them.
I've always wanted to come up for one of those.
It's amazing. I highly, highly recommend. There are 2 different options you can get. 3. If you are in a band, I know you get free drink tickets because some of my friends have played that. And
sure.
2. So hopefully, I would love
That's nice.
to play that. Play Metal and Beer. And then there is the drink package, and they have all the beers, like
right.
like the municipal waste beer. There's like they have beers for all the bands. It's really cool. And there's the metal tickets, and they are cheaper, and that's usually what I get.
That's cool, yeah.
And then there's a Denver one, and that one is in the winter, and they also have all the craft beers and stuff like that. And I see a lot of like I feel like a lot of the more like wintry black bands play that one. Is very cool. I've always wanted to go to that one.
The winter one?
The winter one, because I'm a black metal nerd, and I am. I was the cradle of filth. Like, well, school was my cradle of filth, and then I got into like the actual like black metal as I got older. I started with like symphonic stuff in like middle school, and I just wanted to go to the Denver one because they had some sick bands playing last year. I would love to get out there eventually. My next question was, how was WHARFLURCH created? How was the name created? How was that thought up?
Oh wow. Yeah, so that one I spent a long time thinking about, but basically my goal was to create a name out of words that people might know but have never put together. Mm-hmm. And so I tried, a lot of combinations before, like it would basically be like I'd come up with it and I'd be like, that sounds cool, and then I'd Google it to see if it was a word or being used or being referenced to anything, So when I Googled WHARFLURCH and like nothing came up, I was like, finally found it.
You finally found it.
But it's also like a name where those words kind of like inspire a certain feeling too,
I definitely think they do. Like when I first heard it, my first thoughts were like wharf, as in like I was thinking like the old wharf planks and like the old like, and then lurch, I definitely thought of like two things. I thought of liches and just like all kinds of stuff. It was like very like fantasy, very interesting. And I think that it's a name that when you hear it, it sticks with you. And
we I hope so.
Know a band that when you Google it, there are 800 of them on Metal Archives. There is one,
Plus it's got cool letters. Like, I feel like if you're gonna have like a heavy metal band, you got to be able to do like those really cool letters, and that's got like good letters for that.
Yeah, see, that's another thing people don't always think about, Like, you don't want a band name with a bunch of O's in it. Then you got to put like eyeballs or pentagrams or something.
All that goes into it. To get a name.
For real. I love a good death metal or a black metal font. Like, I love a good logo.
Yeah. I always draw the parallel between that and like in rap music and hip hop culture, there's like graffiti.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. Band
logos are just death metal graffiti, you know what I mean?
I definitely see that. I definitely can see the relation. I am a huge fan of concept albums and themed projects. Was the band always intended to be a concept band with primordial mushroom lore? And where did that idea come from and what inspired it?
So we didn't intend that from the beginning, but like once we really started amassing the songs for the first album, the names that we were giving them, like even before we wrote lyrics for them, it was all like mycelial, psychedelic, mushroom themed names that were coming up. And then some of that stuff we would come up with like such a good name, and it's like, well, now we have to write a song that like lives up to this name or whatever. So there was a little bit of that, but once we started that, like the drummer and vocalist John Mamo and we just started collaborating on thinking about the idea behind it and how there could be a narrative that flows through the whole album.
I love it. It's so interesting. Like there's death metal for everything. We have insect death metal. We have plant-based like annihilation. Like we have vegan death metal. There's a theme for everything. So when I hear something that surprises me, and this surprised me, I was like blown away.
Nice.
I was like so excited and just like awesome. Thought it was amazing.
By any chance, is there anything that's like hidden in your songs that like you could fill us in on, and like so the fans can go back and kind of listen for it?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, really the whole thing is to visualize the first album as sort of the beginning of the story, because so we have a second album that'll be coming out. We have like a demos project that I'll talk about in a little bit, but we have a second album that'll be coming out like later on this year, which continues the story from the first album.
That's cool.
So it's like one of those things where, like, if you never dug into the lyrics and checked it out, you know, like, you'll definitely get more enjoyment out of everything else if you sort of dig in and check it out and get the story alive in your head, you know?
The lore. Did you grow up watching extraterrestrial movies, or were you a sci-fi fan? Like,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Sci-fi, fucking Godzilla movies, horror movies, kung fu movies. I was all about all of that stuff when I was growing up.
Have you been to any of the cons? Like the sci-fi con or like any of the...
No, I don't do it like that.
No.
I don't. To be real with you, I don't know. I feel like I'm not that much of a fanatic or a fan, whatever, about anything. You know, like I don't get that excited about anything to the point of like needing to go have that sort of experience.
You don't like going and waiting in lines?
I went to my first one last year. It was fun. Definitely had lines. Definitely.
What kind of, which con was it? What was it?
It was the horror con. But I heard that the sci-fi ones are.
I heard they're intense.
Yeah, the dress up in the cosplay and everything.
Yeah, like for me, like I like this stuff, but I'm not so into it where I would go there and be super excited about any of that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You want to go for the TikTok?
I just want to go, you know, there's no real reason I want to go to one of those things. I haven't figured out the reason yet for me. So yeah. I'll go to a death metal festival, but I'm not going to a fucking Dragon Con or any of that shit.
Yeah, I understand. I used to go to the anime conventions and like dress up, and then I was like, now I'm poor.
Yeah, right.
I allow myself one like hyperfixation hobby at a time.
For sure.
All my money.
Yeah, it's important. You got to prioritize that shit.
You gotta prioritize it. So
like I still collect vinyl and tapes and all that stuff, and that type of shit gets out of control so quickly.
I had a real problem with the limited pressings for a minute.
Yeah.
I was like spending. I was spending. I was like glow in the dark splatter where half.
Yeah. I'll buy records like that new though. I'm not trying to get it off of like
Discog.
Yeah, none of that shit. eBay.
What was the last vinyl that you picked up?
It's a great question. I think it was actually this Covered Bridges record.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. Nah, never mind. I don't know where it is. But yeah, it's like what they call comfy synth.
Okay.
So it's like real dreamy, like pretty stuff, you know.
It's almost like an ambient like type.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a beat, but it's like really slow and really kind of like muted and sort of beautiful stuff, you know.
That's really cool. Do you have cool record stores where you live?
Yeah, there is a few cool ones. There's an especially cool one called Sunshine Records that just opened up. And, you know, he carries WHARFLURCH records, and they have sections for everything. And, you know, it's a lot of, they even have shows there and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
I love that. We have Vinyl Altar in Philly. It is like metal. It's metal and like dark wave and like goth exclusive. And I'm a big fan of that. I was gonna say, do you see yourself having like your album art is amazing, and I love like the characters. Do you see yourself having any reoccurring characters in the past featured on your albums, the way Iron Maiden has Eddie, Sodom has, I do not know how to pronounce that.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
My other band, Hot Graves, we kind of had a thing like that, where every time we did like a full-length album, they kind of had the same character but evolving. You know what I mean? I'm
a huge fan that Chemist has like a whole their album covers like with the wizard on it, and like they're very like Frank Rosetta for Rosetta. Like
I like that shit too. Yeah,
very very cool. I was like obsessed with that for a minute.
The new Hot Graves album cover, it's not like it has like the same person, but it's like a different perspective on the scenario, the way the art is done, and I'm like
cool.
really really excited to let it out, but that won't be till later this year. But we do have a new release coming up pretty soon.
Oh man, that's definitely something to look forward to, and I'm gonna have to like look through all that album art and we're writing.
The new one, so the one that's about to come out, I'll just tell you guys now because we might as well talk about it. But it's, you remember that when we did the Shit Slime EP?
Mm-hmm.
So now this one is going to be called Shittier Slimier. Because it's kind of like recorded in that way, but it's just like one of those things where it was like a demo project, but it went off the rails and became this crazy, like psychedelic, more experimental monster, you know?
I love that. That's super, super sick. I love that.
Hell yeah, I'm glad to hear it. So that one, like, there's even like instrumental stuff. There's like, I'm doing like some clean, like harmony, choir style vocals. There's all kind of different shit on there.
I love that you're like not afraid to experiment with your sound.
Yeah, I feel like that's the fun part, really, you know?
I feel like a lot of people just get locked into the same sound, and I feel like there's some fans that are like, I don't like that they tried something new on this record, or like they tried something unsuccessfully, but like, and then I'm like, no, that's how sound evolves. You gotta like, you know, keep pushing the envelope and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of bands where, I don't know, like, you know, a band will come out and people are like, oh, it sounds like this, this, and this. And it's like, yeah, and it's pretty obvious, like, that's what those people listen to, you know?
I feel like,
but I don't really like, to me, I purposefully have never like learned other death metal band riffs or any of that stuff. I've just like figured, you know, death metal is one of those things where you do it your way and like you feel like you have a key in your own mind to how it's supposed to feel or sound or whatever, then, you know, you got to go towards that.
Are there any instruments or elements that you'd like to kind of use in the future that you haven't really messed around with?
For WHARFLURCH, it would be cool to do some stuff with like maybe like vibraphone or like some electric pianos or like more jazzier instruments or stuff like that.
Yeah, because I've noticed that a lot of bands are breaking out mixing all sorts of crazy, like, I mean, well, I forget the one that's like a snake charmer, but
oh, like a flute, like,
yeah, like, I mean, like, I get really excited when I see like cool things like that, like wrapped in.
Sometimes it's cool, sometimes, you know.
I lost my mind when I think Crips has like that one album where it starts off with like Tuvan singing, and I was like absolutely like gagging. I was like, did they just do this? This is amazing. I was like, it was sick and hilarious for me at the same time. Speaking of instruments, did you always know you wanted to use synth? It's incorporated so well. I remember in the early 2000s, it was such a gamble because you had a deathcore bands beating it into every song before I really knew what they were doing. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you listen back to old heavy metal and old thrash and old like early death metal, there's a lot of like synth intro stuff like that. And sometimes it fit the music, sometimes it didn't, you know, sometimes it was just some like horror movie sound and stuff, you know, that they just slapped in there, I guess.
I know you're talking about Mortician. I stand with
I'm talking about a lot of people, actually. Even some of the Swedish guys, you know. But like, I don't know. I always wanted to use synth and the stuff. One, I am an electronic music person. I like to produce beats and like electronic stuff, and I have synthesizers and all kind of pieces of equipment here like that. So you know, it was natural for me to like get it in the mix. But I also try to apply it to the music as well.
Yeah.
Like make it part of the music, not just like some add-on thing to like waste 30 seconds before the song starts.
It's incorporated like so well. It like truly impressed me. Because like it wasn't just like an intro or like a blip in the music. It was like truly part of it. It was truly incorporated very well. I feel like since you do a lot of like synth based music and like tech based music, would you be interested in like doing like glitch art or something like that for your projects? Because I know I've seen a lot of bands doing like on stage like almost like glitch art.
Oh, you mean like projected?
Yeah, I've
I would
seen.
love to have projections while we play. I would love that. That would be my favorite thing.
Yeah.
We usually bring some lights and stuff with us to like get the ambiance right for us, but you know, some projection would always be really, really cool.
Super sick. WHARFLURCH sticks out a lot in the death metal world, especially with their Technicolor album covers. Can you talk about the album art and who draws it? It's very consistent throughout your discography.
Sure, yeah. So a lot of our art, the majority of our art has been done by my good buddy Ian, who goes by Claw.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably done easily 80% of the art for our releases and shirts and different things. The cover for Psychedelic Realms of Hell, however, was done by our buddy Lucas, who goes by Rusted Winds. And we basically like challenged him to do like the most like insane, detail oriented, I even drew up like a little mock-up of how I wanted it to be and sent him like a very rough idea about it. He just like went from there. Crazy.
A went like out of control. Like that album cover is sick. Your Bandcamp, sick. I was like so impressed. I was like showing people. I was like, come here. I was like pulling my laptop. I was like, take a look at that. Tell me that isn't one of the sickest Bandcamps you have seen.
I'm looking forward to relaunching.
I like that it kind of draws you in too, because a lot of them are like either black, red, or gray.
Right.
And yours has all the like bright colors and like the popping green and like.
Yeah. So I'm about to actually redo it too to go along with this next release whenever that drops. We're still waiting on hearing back from the vinyl plant about when it'll be done or whatever.
Exciting.
It is so exciting.
What was I gonna say? That's super exciting. Like Ali said, WHARFLURCH just like stands out so much because there is so many like monotone colors and stuff like that in like the world of death metal. You have like, and it's just like, I don't know, it's so cool, and I just like really respect you guys for not putting yourselves in a box.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be as exciting as it could be.
Visual aesthetics are so important nowadays. I mean,
yeah, I think it is. Like the music and all that. Like we've been seeing a lot of stuff with people debating about AI art and all that stuff, and bands coming out talking about this, that, and the other thing. But that's really where it comes from, though. Like the human art is always going to be better.
Oh, dude, I completely agree with you. And because like people just create so many feelings, like when there's so many iconic like death metal and black metal and just like metal album covers that like I was just talking about how that one Full of Hell like album cover, the one like the nun and the cow, I forget what the album's called, with the smoke is like the moment I saw that, I have never been able to get it out of my head. Like, and how like I don't know, I just love when a band can bring everything like full circle.
Yeah, you gotta have the whole aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have like when that record's on the turntable, you gotta be sitting there looking at the cover and just like reading the lyrics and everything,
Absolutely. What is a memorable show or tour moment for you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
A memorable show or tour moment.
Oh, there's a lot of that stuff. Fucking driving from Richmond through Pennsylvania to Youngstown, Ohio in a snowstorm in a fucking rickety ass van. Thought we were gonna die probably 400 times.
That's
yeah, we got our snowstorms over here.
Yeah, that shit. Yeah, I'm a Florida boy. I don't know nothing about that shit.
no snow tires on here.
We ain't got none of that shit. And it was just like big ass trucks and fucking mountains everywhere, and it was just like, God damn, this is fucking horrible.
Oh, I bet.
But the show after that was amazing. It was fucking great. We played with Inoculation and like a couple other guys, you know. But and we were on tour with Maul as well. That was great. But we played also with Obituary once. That was really cool.
Oh man, that must have been a moment. Like that's super cool.
Yeah. We had some pretty cool shows, you know, and of course we kind of came out of the gate swinging. Like we already had a bunch of stuff released and sold before we actually ended up playing any shows because of the way all the COVID stuff went, you know.
It was amazing, like how I found you guys. So I think I found you guys during COVID, and I like to sit, and I was like sitting there just watching Banger TV, and it was like,
Right.
Album you have to check. It was like Blaine Smith here, and this is an album you need to check out. And I saw the artwork, and I was like, I'm sold. You sold me. This is now. I was immediately like, give me Spotify. Like, let me look for this band. So,
yeah. Yo, shout out to Banger TV.
Shout out to Banger TV. No plug. Blaine Smith the music plug.
Making real connections, you know.
Really, seriously. But yeah, I was a fan ever since.
That's amazing.
What bands would you see yourself or would like to play with in the future?
I'd like to play with, you know, all the fun death metal bands. You know, I think Outer Heaven is like a fun live band.
They're a Philly band.
Oh, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like a lot of Philly bands, you know. I want to go on tour with Sonia from Philly.
Oh, yeah. They play and they're sick. They are sick. I've seen them.
I love that album so much. I'm really good friends with the drummer though, Jeje.
That's awesome.
I've known him since like probably 2008 or something like that.
That's sick.
So like we always see them in CrossFitter and all that stuff whenever they come around.
I love Sonia. I grew up with somebody from Outer Heaven, so
nice.
We went to see Outer Heaven.
But yeah, it would be cool to play with, like, you know, the Blood Incantations and the people.
I was going to say that. That's my dream right now, would be you guys playing with Blood Incantation.
Yeah.
So I would dress like an alien for that. That would be like the alien tour for me. That
would be the one that could really bring out the real cosmonauts.
Yeah, it would be like such a theme. It would be so good.
Or like Demolish or somebody like that.
I love Demolish. They play I think they played they're Finnish, right? Yeah, they're Finnish. Yeah. And
I saw them and Blood Incantation together actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think pretty good.
Demolish played like a year or two ago. Johnny was here in Philly, and I missed it, and I was really not a happy camper.
Yeah, they're super good.
You being in multiple bands, how do you find balance?
Well, right now, like Plasmodulated is the one I'm most focused on. You know what I mean? Like all this WHARFLURCH stuff is already recorded and ready to go. I'm just like putting it out. But we're getting ready to record the Plasmodulated full length in May. So we're just playing shows until then, and then we're gonna lock it down and
so you just constantly have a project.
Yeah, or a few projects. Yeah. I got some other shit too, you know, like there's always something going on.
You're somebody who constantly kind of needs to be doing something.
Yeah. I mean, we even recorded more WHARFLURCH stuff when our new bass player Lily, he came to visit me in like I guess November-ish. Mm-hmm. And then we hung out for like 4 or 5 days. We ended up writing like 15 minutes worth of new WHARFLURCH like songs for a split we're gonna do.
Have you ever crossed any of the bands?
How do you mean?
Like, have you ever played with one of your other bands and kind of
did double duty for a show?
Yeah.
I don't do that. I have done it, but I usually try not to.
I have a friend who's in a hardcore band, and then he's in a vampire-themed black and thrash band.
Hell yeah.
And they played the same night, the same show. And so he comes out and he's in like a tracksuit for the hardcore band. Then he goes, next band plays, he comes back, he's dressed as a vampire. I was like, this is amazing. You would not know it's the same person. It was a weird
That's awesome.
weird show. I love a good show where every band is like, why are you guys playing together? But I love it.
Yeah, I do enjoy a nice mixed bill. When it's mixed just right.
I would have such a hard time like keeping all the songs separate. I mean, you have a lot going on. I would be like mixing songs left and right.
I mean, you'd be surprised, you know. I always thought it would be a problem, but just the more you rehearse, it all gets in there.
I guess it's like a totally different vibe with each band.
Yeah, because I have this other band too that like it's an all-female black metal band, but then now I joined them and I'm playing guitar with them, and it's like a totally different way of playing guitar, but it's super fun.
That's super cool.
And now what's the name of that?
The name of that band is called Necrophilia,
which
is the genus of carrion beetles.
Huh.
So there's a little insect theme to the lyrics as well, but it's black metal, old school style.
I kind of love that.
Lots of tremolo picking.
There's a lot of that, yeah. But it's like a lot of like Greek style and like the Harrod and Arch Goaty kind of things, you know.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. And I'm just like chilling.
You're like, I'm here to play.
Yeah, like, play this. You like this? I'm like, yeah, I like it. Let's play it.
I love how many female fronted black metal bands we have. I'm seeing Holder like in 2 weeks, and I'm super excited for that.
Oh yeah, I think they're playing here like tomorrow, or not here, but in Orlando.
I think Devil Master's the support.
Hell yeah, I love Devil Master.
They're from Philly too.
Oh, I know.
My
Philly got a lot of good bands. Shout out Morgul Blade too.
Yeah, Morgul Blade. They just released. I think they just released an album.
Yeah.
They
announced it. I forget when it's coming.
Yeah, it got announced or something.
Yeah, it's coming out in April or May or something.
But I'm super excited for that. And do you have any advice for people out there trying to start a death metal project or band?
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to start a death metal band, don't learn other death metal bands' riffs and songs. Just listen to some shit and then make up your own stuff. We have too many copycat bands already.
Yeah.
We don't need more.
I think
that's one of the biggest mistakes that you see that people make.
Musically speaking?
Yeah.
I think musically speaking, it's just the mistakes that I think of are like just repeating things too often, or just doing things in too predictable of a fashion. You know?
Yeah, I like to ask that to people that creatively like do other things, like to hear their take on that. Because some people, I mean, people go at it from all different angles, and I love that you are just mixing in so many different things, and you're always like learning more and going into the next thing. That's pretty cool. I can't wait to look up all these bands.
Yeah, I mean, I think like for real, the biggest miscalculation people make is to think that if they do something just like the way somebody they like did it, that they can be good too. It's like you have to add something different, something from somewhere else.
I think the best advice I've heard when asking that question is Dennis from Ghost Bath said somebody from Nuclear Blast told him you have to immediately be able to identify whose song that is. Like, you have to be doing something different enough that you're like, that is a by that. That is,
Yeah.
and I think that that's something that WHARFLURCH absolutely has. When I hear a WHARFLURCH song, I'm like, that's a WHARFLURCH song. But when I think of all these like bands that are doing phenomenally, I immediately new single, somebody plays a new single, coffee shop, I'm like, that is Gate Creeper. That's the new Gate Creeper song.
Right.
I know like all these bands that are like fizzling to the top. I'm immediately like, I'm not like, who is that? Or like spending too long being like, who is that? I can't figure out who it is. I'm like, I know a WHARFLURCH song when I hear one. I know a Gate Creeper song when I hear one. I know, like all these like bands. I'm like, I know who that. I definitely know like a Ghost Bath song when I hear one because nobody
Sure.
like Dennis.
On the other side of that, I love hearing a new band and like putting, like, say you put on their album and then maybe you start doing something else. And then maybe you forget what it was you put on, but you're like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? What did I put on? What the hell? Oh, that's right. And then like another couple songs plays and you end up doing it again. You're like, wait, what again? What the fuck is this?
Do you know
what's your favorite song to perform right now, currently?
What's that?
What's your favorite song to perform right now, currently?
Well, right now, we're really Plasmodulated is my band that's really like practicing and playing shows and doing all this stuff. So right now, in terms of that stuff, we have this new song that's called it's Entering the Gastral Realm Part 2. There's a Part 1 that came out on this split, but we're playing like Part 1 and then Part 2 together. And there's just like a lot of different stuff, like all the different weird shit we do in one song. It's pretty fun. But in terms of WHARFLURCH, I really love playing what is it? Stone Ape Apocalypse.
That's a sick one.
That song goes super hard live. Especially because there's like this pause, but instead of like the normal like one beat pause, we just like scream until Mamo like would do the drum fill in and then we'd come in with the super heavy riff.
I bet everybody's absolutely going insane.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. People liked it.
That's amazing.
What's been your weirdest like fan interaction or like most impactful?
I don't know. It was cool. Like when we went on tour, we would play, certain places, but then I would see people there who were people I knew from Instagram, like interactions or all that stuff. Cause I was heavily interactive with the fans and all that shit. And they'd be like, oh yeah, man, I drove like 3 hours to be here or whatever, some crazy drive. And then they were going to turn around and drive back to go home that night. And I'm just like, God, that's fucking crazy. It's like, I'm so glad you did that. I mean, it's amazing, but like, wow, dude. But then I remember, I would do that shit too for bands that I really wanted to see, make like a 5-hour drive to Atlanta or something and then drive back the same night. We didn't give a fuck. So
I think the worst one I did was Baltimore. It was 3 hours to Baltimore and then have to get up to be somewhere at 6 a.m. I did not sleep, but that was a sick show. And
what show was that?
That was for some reason Decibel Tour did not come to Philadelphia that year, and I was really confused because they almost but they played Baltimore, and it was Enforced opened, it was Municipal Waste, it was Gate Creeper, and it was
I remember that tour.
Yeah, it was a really fun time, and I just was like, I hadn't seen Municipal Waste in a really long time, and I wanted to see them throw trash cans and see boogie board, see if they still boogie boarded, and they did still throw the trash.
all the good gimmicks.
I actually saw them in Ghoul last week, and it was amazing.
Hell yeah.
It was so fun. The best part about it is the crowd. It was like everybody, They're all went like they were acting like Barney from The Simpsons. Like it was just burping and like like men. Like it was so funny.
Nice.
10 out of 10. What does the future look like for WHARFLURCH musically? Are we looking forward to new music? I know you kind of answered that, and new merch.
Yeah, so we are definitely going to be dropping a new it's a full-length project. It's like 38, 40 minutes worth of music. It's going to be on CD, cassette, vinyl from Gurgling Gore and Dawn Breed Records.
Woo!
So that'll probably either be like into April or beginning of May. That'll probably end up being announced to drop then. And then we have another whole album that was like professionally recorded in the studio. And then I did a bunch of like, synthesizer stuff, and I got a bunch of guest vocalists on there and blah, blah, blah. So that'll be coming out later in the year. And then we're also working on a split with somebody I'm not going to reveal just yet, but it's going to be good.
Oh, wow.
Why you didn't pick 420 to release on?
It just depends on if the vinyl's going to be done then or not. That's what we're waiting on.
The pressing?
Yeah. Whenever they tell us they'll really have it, we'll be able to, announce a release date and start promoting it and doing all that stuff. And then on the back of that, we might start playing some shows. I got people to play the music, we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome.
Really though, I want to come out with 2 drummers, two guitars, bass, a synthesizer person, have like a bunch of mushroom like statues and like interactive stage prop type things on stage.
I love the kitsch. I love props.
Yeah, like imagine like big foam mushrooms that have like lasers shooting out of them in all directions,
I love that'd be so good.
It reminds me of other, like there's a place that opened in Philly and it's called Otherworld, and the whole place is just basically like rooms just of fantasy.
Yeah,
and you walk through, it's like every room you can basically like take pictures all over. I took my son and we had a blast.
Is it like it's like Meow Wolf and stuff like that?
It's just weird. It's just weird stuff. Like they've got a whole drip room that like
hell yeah.
I was like on one of the drips and my son was on the other, and we're like kind of like bumping into each other, like just being silly, but
nice.
I've definitely walked past that. I've actually walked past that and saw W Alley.
It's definitely like worth going to.
Yeah. But
I love those aesthetics on live. I think that would be so fun with like the huge mushrooms. And mushrooms are so popular right now.
It's true. It kind of bums me out in a way, but you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
But it just goes with the whole theme of the whole story that we're like cultivating from album to album.
It is super cool. With like the story you're cultivating, a lot of bands have been coming out with like extended story, comic books, all kinds of stuff. Could you ever see yourself releasing something like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I would love that above anything else, comic book, a little animated
something
movie, something like that. I would love to do any kind of thing like that. Absolutely.
It's super cool. I've been seeing like a lot of bands do stuff like that with their story, and I'm like, it's like itching all the good nerd parts of my brain. Like I will spend money on the comic books. If you sneak it in a vinyl too, ooh, that's how you get me.
Yeah, like you open up the vinyl and then there's like an insert and it's all this stuff. Yeah, I love that too. I'm definitely a sucker for like the good packaging.
Good packaging. You give me a little you give me comic book or like a little poster.
Because vinyls were like going out for a while, and now like a lot of the bands that we've talked to are now getting into the vinyls. Actually, one of the guests, she actually makes
the
vinyls.
It's in what is it? Oh, I'm trying to think of.
Let me get some water real quick. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. I'm trying to think of the company that presses the presses the
vinyls.
Vinyl that we're talking about. But the band is going to be.
They actually just opened up a vinyl pressing plant here in my town.
Really?
Very, very recently, yeah.
That's like super, super exciting. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated watching people press it on like YouTube.
Yeah. I love watching that. I really want to get a job there because I would love to just do that all day for real.
Yeah. Do the splatters and etc.
Yeah, some of them are crazy.
Yeah.
Anything that glows, anything that's like on theme. I was just talking about like the dream of I was like, when I have my grindcore my porno grind project that nobody would ever sign on to, I was like, we're gonna do a clear pressing with like blood splatter, and then it's gonna be clear, and then it's gonna be white and red, and it's gonna look like a bloody ejaculate, and everybody's just like, you can stop talking now.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, you can do a lot with the slime theme.
Oh yeah, and
yeah,
like
we do a lot of that. Yeah, for sure.
Like that, you can have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, we did this split with Maul and Thorn called Mixophobia, which is like the irrational fear of slime. So all of our songs were on that level.
Fun fact, I actually did a whole slime party for my son. All the other parents thought I was nuts. We made edible slime.
Oh,
like wow. We made all sorts of like different slime, and surprisingly, no catastrophes.
I mean, it sounds like a really good time, honestly.
I'd
pull up to a party like that.
I would still go to a slime party. As a child, I was like the Nickelodeon slime, slime people. I was like at all the kids.
That's what I based it off of. I was thinking about the Nickelodeon slime.
Yeah.
We were like vicious, like slime them.
And now it's like nothing. Like I'll like catch it just like in flashing somebody getting slimed, and it's like absolutely nothing. But when we were kids, it was like everything.
Yeah. It was devastating.
It was devastating, truly.
Like, did you ever think that might happen to you in public somewhere?
Yes,
I thought about things happening in public that would never happen very frequently. Like, I thought quicksand was going to be a real problem in my life.
For real. I see quicksand in movies now. Like, I'll be watching some old shit or like some Mystery Science Theater, and they're like dealing with some quicksand in the movie. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I thought that was going to be like an everyday issue.
Yeah. Be walking through the woods. Fuck, not more quicksand. Not again.
I was going to have to like Princess Bride myself out, stuff like that. Like, I definitely thought like.
I always wanted a robot.
A robot?
Yeah. I always wanted like my own robot.
I was iffy with the Iron Giant. I was like, I don't know if I trust that thing.
It's too big. It's too big.
I could just see you debating whether like you're like into them or not.
I was like, it's got dead eyes. It's got dead eyes, and like I don't know how. Like when that kid was like, he's my best friend, I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I trust that thing. And I also was like, if I see ET,
I still to this day have not watched all of ET. When he turned white, I like had a panic attack and hid under my bed for like 4 hours crying because I thought he was gonna die. Never finished the movie.
Me and my cousin saw that movie together for the first time, and apparently we were just clutching onto each other and crying that whole part. Yeah. Like, no, not
ET. All with the red finger, like I thought he was real.
Listen, I was not playing with ET.
He was like, it wasn't an attractive look for an alien.
I was like,
a little creepy. You ever see Mac and Me?
Would you rather run into ET or
wheelchair? Isn't he?
Yeah. You saw Mac and Me then, huh?
Mac and Me, if you don't
That's like
know,
the McDonald's version of E.T. basically.
it is literally the McDonald's version. It is. If you don't know, any of the viewers do not know what Mac and Me is. It is like it is the bootleg ET, and it is.
But it was bootlegged by McDonald's.
Yeah, and it was even weirder.
There's even like a little kid's birthday party in McDonald's where they show up and shit, and like there's Ronald McDonald doing like magic tricks for the kids and everything, and it's fully
wild.
The little girl, the woman or the girl who works next or lives next door works at McDonald's, so she's showing up in a McDonald's shirt in most of the scenes.
It is a campaign with an alien.
I watched like the weirdest stuff when I was little.
Well,
like,
if you've never seen that movie and you have Netflix, you should watch Mystery Science Theater 3000 making fun of it. It's pretty fucking funny.
I think I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to think of like best science fiction movie for me. I like to like Demolition Man. I rewatched Terminator not that long ago, and it was sick. I was like, these movies still go hard.
I'm kind of a RoboCop girl.
Total Recall. RoboCop is amazing.
Yeah.
You ever watch Tetsuo the Iron Man?
Yes, and most recently I watched like most recent like Asian horror movie I watched was called like The Oily Maniac.
Oh shit.
The Oily Maniac one. It was sick. It was pretty brutal. It was pretty cool. And then there's like a Indian Bollywood Nightmare on Elm Street we watched, and that was also like wild. I love a good foreign horror movie. In general.
Yeah, I like weird foreign movies. I like all kind of weird. Like to me, it's always funny to see a movie and be like, "Wow, they really fucking did this, huh?" Like they got a crew together and they filmed this.
Have you ever made a movie? My friends used to make movies like straight up like home movie style. Like
I mean, we used to goof around with stuff like that. But yeah, we did make a movie once called The Attack of the Sidewalk Eels.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. So the Sidewalk Eels were just like
so underrated. Like people don't make a big enough deal about eels. Like eels are badass.
I love a good eel.
So the Sidewalk Eels were like, we would like take a piece of string that was like 4 or 5 feet long and attach it to our like belt loop and then put our belt on it and run, and it would be like this belt was chasing.
That's super that's so creative. That's so silly.
It was stupid as fuck. And then also we had one of the main characters was the cat-headed prophet, and we would just like take my buddy's cat and like put it in this kind of thing that made it look like a robe. And we would like do whatever, and our other friend would like talk like the cat was talking and like, you know, tell the prophecy of the cat or the sidewalk eels and all this stuff.
Oh my god, the sidewalk eels, that needs to be in a video. Like you need to have them like going.
There was some amazing performances. Like my buddy Ryan, we, you know, put a sidewalk eel on him on the string, and he just went running, and he was like tumbling in the grass and like rolling and like hurting himself for real.
Oh my god.
Like it was fucking hilarious.
My thing was that I wanted to be on Jackass so badly in middle school. It was I was doing all that stuff. I was like, throw me in the shopping cart.
My friends and I had so many things like planned out that we wanted to do, and then like now you get in trouble for everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like if we were to do half the things that we had planned to do, like we'd be behind bars.
Yeah, you can't do absolutely anything. You can't even like skateboard half the.
You can't just leave a briefcase with a code on it in the middle of a like intersection.
Yeah.
One thing that we were big into that I don't feel like you can get away with now is like we used to go, you know, those like convex mirrors, like parking mirrors and like banks and parking garages and shit. We used to steal the fuck out of those things and just like completely cover our walls in those mirrors.
I think
like get away with that shit now.
I loved going to guys' places and just seeing like they stole the Wawa sign.
Right.
And like,
right.
and like, because it'd be like things that you'd be like, why did you take that?
I remember my neighbor all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, just had like open from dusk till dawn sign.
Mm-hmm.
And I like waited a little bit. I didn't want to like be like grilling him about. And finally, I'm like, "Where did you get that?" And he's like, "Oh, my son came home with it one night." Like, but that thing like sat in the backyard for a really, really.
You remember the movie Borat?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was like a cardboard stand-up of Borat just going like this. That was like fucking like 8 feet tall or some shit. And we just like went in the movie theater and ran out with it one time. And we had it at our practice place for our band for a really long time. And then somehow I guess we lost that warehouse and we ended up putting that thing at my house. And I had it like behind the couch in my living room. And I can't tell you, there was like at least a half dozen times when I'd be like walking by that room in the middle of the night after getting like a glass of water or something. And I'd see like Borat coming from behind the house or the couch and forget and be like, God damn it.
I'd be like, oh my God. Yeah. Do you guys have practice space? Because that is like the biggest issue with everybody I know around here.
Yeah, we share a warehouse with another band that our drummers in. And we have shows out there too sometimes, you know.
That's sick.
But we got it all built out with like a upper area and we got a refrigerator and like a desk and a computer set up and all that shit.
I know that's like a real issue with like people around here is like there isn't a lot of places that,
yeah, there's no space.
Yeah, there's no space, and you kind of have to go to the suburbs, from what I hear, for a warehouse with a practice space. So it ends up being and you end up.
You have to have a warehouse that has like electricity and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just have like a storage spot.
I had 2 people bring that up this weekend.
With practice spaces?
Yeah.
Allie, there is a place out in Upper Darby. It's called Red Planet, I think, but it is a pain to get to. And
I heard of a couple in Allentown. I'm like, that area.
That's far from Philly.
I played a show in Allentown once. That was fucking horrible.
Was it?
Actually, it was because Darkest Hour was like playing right up the street.
They have a single that came out this week, or an album or something. I think they had an album come out.
Man, shout out Darkest Hour. They put our whole band on the guest list so we could come to like the big like huge show that they were playing, because our show down the street there'd be like 4 people there or something.
Oh man.
But yeah, they brought us in and we had a good time. It was cool, but you know. And then they came down, a couple of them, and watched our show and like bought a CD and shit.
That's sick. I love when a band comes out to support another band. That's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, those guys were really cool. Like really,
that.
really humble, really sweet dudes. I've seen them around a few times since then too. They're always cool.
What's one of your favorite venues?
I love St. Vitus Bar. Not R.I.P., but yeah.
Not R.I.P. I hope not. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I love St. Vitus. You know, I don't know. I like any place that, you know, has something cool to it that's memorable. Like there's this place in Harrisonburg, Virginia, called the Blue Nile, I think, and it's like an Ethiopian restaurant upstairs, and then downstairs there's like a setup where they like have bands and DJs and all that stuff, and it's like a little club with a bar and shit.
That's sick.
And when you play there, they give you a big free plate of Ethiopian food, which is amazing.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
We'll
just play here and we'll just come here for the food, play a show. Also, like that place is far enough removed from any place that like the people go to shows there, they really do buy a lot of merch, you know?
Yeah.
Because whenever not too many bands come through, so they support the shit out of whoever does.
That's super important. I like 90% of my clothes come from the merch table because
yeah, no doubt.
Important, and 2, I think that a 4-sided death metal long sleeve is of better quality. Yep. Than half the stuff that I could get at the store. That's just how I feel.
For sure.
I have a hard time getting rid of any merch. Like I have so much at this point, and like I'm just like, oh well, I might see them again at some point, and I'll like.
I'm not getting rid of
like an already stuffed closet.
Any merch because I see how much the 90s death metal slog are selling for. The men on my Instagram are like $500 for
yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Let me sell a single Sugabog.
I was like blown away at the punk rock flea market how much some of those t-shirts were going for.
Oh yeah, man.
Ridiculous. There's nothing punk rock about that.
No, there is not. And if I see anyone selling a Sanguisugabog shirt for more than like $15, I'm gonna be like, what's up? They got more merch than anybody I know. I got some of it, but
yeah,
so I'm not hating.
I got some old joints.
You know, that's wild.
I like the merch though that you get like from the concerts. Like,
yeah,
for some reason it's like different if I order it over the internet.
It just depends on if that person's gonna come through or not, and if how much I want to support them or not. You know.
Yeah,
I just like that like genuine merch, like from the show.
Yeah.
I got one hater thing to say. I do not order my this is my one hater comment, and this goes out to Relapse Records. Do better with whoever's printing your merch, because I should not have my death hoodie should not clean rip off after one wash. But this is a shout out to Holy Mountain Printing, because my Feather and Bone shirts are they're still hanging in there years later, and they should not.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is an Uber cult one. It might be wasn't that?
Mm-hmm.
Who did Uber cult do his store with? Was it Holy Mountain or
Holy Mountain? They be printing just like good quality. So I'm a big fan of ordering. If I'm not buying my shirts at shirts at shows, I usually will like order from like Holy Mountain. I was a big fan of like Pyre Press.
Yeah, Pyre does really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They did the original plasmodulated shirts, and they did the tie-dye fucking Stone Ape Apocalypse shirts too.
That's sick.
Yeah, those came out cool.
Where can we find you on social medias? You have a distributor, we can find your music anywhere, pretty much.
Yeah, just type in WHARFLURCH, you know, there's no other WHARFLURCH thing in the world. Same thing with Modulated. That's another one where it's just, that's all you get is that one thing, that band. So
now, where do you like usually to lead fans? Like Spotify?
I would say, you know, if you use Spotify, I like Apple Music. I use that. You know, we have live footage of all the stuff on YouTube. You can look that up and have some fun with that. We got fun little weird videos. The Facebook thing, it only mirrors what's on Instagram. I don't really go too crazy on there. But yeah, the Instagram pages are definitely a good way to get at us.
And my final question, are there any recent album releases or singles that you've really enjoyed that you could recommend to our viewers?
Let's see. I'm trying to remember what I've been listening to. I checked out the new what was the band? All I can think of is Pestilence because of all this bullshit that's been going on social media.
Yeah.
Although I didn't listen to that. Pertinence? What's the name? There was some band like that that just dropped a new album that was pretty good.
The one that blew me away, like blew me out of the absolute water, that I was like foaming from the mouth at, being like, this is the heaviest, this is the sickest shit I've ever heard in my life. I was like losing it. I was like, I don't want to talk about anything. I was like, I've ascended. Job for a Cowboys new album.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that.
It was amazing.
That's cool.
That was an album that I was like, what is this? It sounds like the only thing I can relate it to is like a horrendous, like it's very
Yeah, right.
and it's got groove. I was like, this is the band that put out Doom. No hate on Doom. Doom was my child, like that was high school. Like I thought that was sick. That scream and like an attunement of machine, that drove me wild back in the day. So I was not expecting it to absolutely rip. Super bass heavy, like you can hear the bass master.
I'll have to check it out. I've been seeing people posting about it, but I haven't checked that band out in so long.
Good. It's really.
Did you listen to the new Spectral Voice?
Yes, and
I like that one.
They're touring. I have it like bookmarked on my phone. I think I can't remember who's opening, and I'm going to Maryland Death Fest. I think they're playing that too.
That was cool. Yeah, we saw him in Mexico at Total Death over Mexico 3.
Sick.
That was super heavy.
There's a lot of people playing at that Maryland Death Fest.
Oh man,
hundreds of bands.
Yeah, there's some really nice lineups for that one.
I got tickets to the whole shebang, all the venues. I'm super excited. It's going to be my first Death Fest because every other year I have not been able to attend due to outside circumstances, conflicting life. You can't take off this. You can't have that many days. Oh, the baby.
What's up, man?
Now, does that make you nervous after like what happened at like Blue Ridge and like at some of the other festivals this year?
Going to Death Fest?
Yeah.
I think that I don't actually know. I don't know what happened at Blue Ridge. What happened?
Blue Ridge, they had like all these like storms, and they actually like only had 2 water fountains, and they actually closed down the one only to VIP.
I feel like so somebody. Okay, Maryland Death Fest is from a lot of my friends go every year, and they kind of say it's like there's a lot of craziness happens kind of no matter what. I have a hotel room.
I was about to say, are you glamping it out? Or are you?
No, it's not a camping thing. It's at like 3 or 4 bars and like at once. It's like a whole thing. And
that's fun.
but the issue is that if you don't have a room, you end up staying in like weird circumstances. I had a friend. The worst horror story one of my friends has had about Death Fest is that they waited to book their room and they booked an Airbnb and it ended up being a hospice.
Ooh.
So they were all like bullet belted up. They were all like bullet belted up, like and like drunk, and then walked in and they were like, we're at our Airbnb, and there were like old people on ventilators, and they were like, we cannot do this. We're too
like we didn't really want to celebrate death like this.
Yeah, that is not it. They're like, no, that was the Maryland Death Fest.
They probably had so many stories.
That was rough. I was like, that was the worst story. And then somebody else is just like, yeah, it's just as long as you're not by the train station because all the crusties stab each other. And I'm like, I'm not going to be around there. I will be fine. So that is something I'm excited about. I didn't think they were going to have. They took a year off because that guy jumped off the bridge.
See, I found it's good being small because I can work my way through the crowd very easily.
Yeah,
usually like whoever I'm with has a little more issues because I'm like tiny and stealth. Like I'm used to the clubs. Like
I'm really excited to see Bloodbath.
Nice, yeah.
And like I think who else is playing? Dragged in the Sunlight, I think it's playing too, and I'm really excited about that. Just like a ton of bands. I'm a little upset that Crips played the Metal and Beer and but I was like hoping they would like play something like this too because I'm a huge Crips fan.
Yeah, that band a lot, yeah.
I've never seen Skinless, so I'm excited to see them.
Always forget about them.
I love a horror movie intro. Like, so
I
I will
listened to that shit in so long.
I will go see like Mortician if they play, just for like, because like I'm like iconic band. I'm not even sure the bass was plugged in last time I saw Mortician. Like no hate, but like that's the truth. I still had fun though.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be super awesome. Um, and I think like the future of metal is like, I don't know, it's so promising because we have people like you making music, and just like it's so creative. All like the creative juices are going. And I think like I don't know, I'm so optimistic about the bands playing anymore. Like I
do
think we
too.
have to push it.
I always hold to the thing where I know, like, you know, within any scene like that, there's a lot of boring stuff or whatever, but the stuff that's cool and interesting will kind of rise to the top and make
It
itself known.
always does, and I think that I think this is like one of the best times to be making music because I know a couple people who are like, I can't find people to play in a band with do my idea with me, and I've told them, make the write the riffs and they will come.
Right, for real.
Like you write the like I have like
Exactly what happened with all my shit lately. So yeah.
you write the riffs and then the people will come. I gen like it sounds very like Wayne's World. Like that's not like the way I like think about it, but like book them and they will come. But like write the riffs, and if once people see the vision, see the idea, they will want to do it with you. I promise.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to present sort of a full idea rather than be like, well, I kind of want it to be like this and kind of like this.
There are so many people who will just like post or say like, "Hey, I'm trying to start like a power violence band," but they don't know you're serious about it,
Yeah.
or like something like that until you actually are like, "This is the thing that I'm making."
Yeah, here it is.
Also, we have so many um bands that like iconic bands that somebody just had an idea and not having the members didn't stop them. Like we have like projects like Panopticon and stuff like that, which are like insane. That is one person.
Yeah.
So I just like I'm a firm believer of just like go for it and see what happens because you can make something absolutely incredible. And I think that's something that you're doing is just like making something absolutely incredible and different than and just like going with your idea. So but
I love how social you are, especially like online.
mhm.
Like I can't stand when a band is so personable when you see them play live and then on social media, like nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like everything you do should be sort of a reflection of like who you are, you know? So it doesn't make sense to me to hold back in one aspect or the other, you know?
Oh, we appreciate it.
We definitely
Because it's a lot of fun.
We can't wait to hear your new stuff.
absolutely. We would love definitely come to Philly. We would definitely absolutely like 100% come out. Love to see you play.
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. I'm getting a touring vehicle situation together and then make it happen.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed this with you guys.
Yay! We would love to have you on sometime after the album comes out or after a tour to talk about it. It would be
Yeah, for sure. That would be great.
great. Thank you so much.
All right. Y'all have a great night.
Bye.
Yeah.
So cool. I'm so excited for the new
Yeah,
music.
he was so fun.
I know, right?
I love how like and Dennis from Ghost Bath was the same way. Like hearing their music, you don't expect them to be like so talkative and so
like,
down to earth, and they are.
I feel like the thing with like people who play heavy music, a lot of the times they're just like some of the coolest people that I know. Like, and I have a lot of friends who play like some really intense stuff, but they have been some of the most laid back people that I know. So I don't know. I think that's can be like a misconception, like with people, because I've heard people write lyrics about like I'm gonna tear them limb from limb, and then they're like, "Hi guys," but I think
I like that like their vibe isn't all dark.
yeah, no, I think you know, at the end of the day, people are people, and people just like I think it's a fantasy, and like
I definitely want to see the light up mushrooms like going around.
I would love.
Like, I want him to bring that vision to life.
I want to see that so
And invite us.
would love to see some sort of like glitch art or something like that in the background.
There's a place called Gadgets or whatever. They have like these floor tiles that like they're crazy. They're like infinity mirrors, and then they have like some like weird like galaxy thing going through them. I was looking at them today. Very expensive, but for a band to have that on stage, like that would be cool.
That'd be amazing. I would love to see that.
I'm like all about the aesthetics now.
Like, I love good aesthetics. I am just like super excited to see all the music that Mike has coming out from all his various projects. And I would love to see just like them come to Philadelphia. Absolutely. And just I want to thank all of our viewers for paying attention every week and clicking and watching and checking out the bands. You know, I love being here. I love being here.
I was just about to say that too. Like this has been so much fun. Like the people that we've had come on, it's just been awesome to be part of their journey.
Absolutely.
And that's been for a lot of them. I mean, I've watched some just grow into just something that I couldn't even like explain. Like I always say this, but with Strange Culture, I'm telling you, like we were all standing there, and we've listened to Nick. He's got the vocals. I'm telling you, when Noah came out with When Looking Glass and he started doing that scream, like I'm telling you, all of us just kind of like I love those moments. And it's been great, like just being able to hear the stories behind the songs. Like how many songs now, like I go and watch the video and I'm like, we talked about this. I know the story behind this.
Yeah.
Like even with Anoxia, like every time I watch her relinquish the quiet, I just see all the little like quirks and like cool things in the video, and I love it.
I love that so much. So exciting.
Yeah, Monte Carlo and everybody says hi to you. Boss Micro. They were all out this weekend.
Yes. Super cool, super exciting. Just like there are so many cool things going on in the music scene.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it. And coming up, like we have it's pretty diverse. Like we've got some really fun upcoming people coming on, and I'm excited about it.
I'm super, super excited about it. Well, thank you for everybody for joining us this week. You know, I'm Jessie, and then we have Allie, and thank you for everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Like, share, listen, go on Spotify.